Go ahead, Nancy.
Just in terms of back to the corporate tax rate for a second,
Yeah.
if it's something that the president is willing to, drop out of a potential bipartisan infrastructure deal, does the White House see it fitting in as a pay-for the American Families Plan, or where else could that be slotted in?
We have no shortage of ideas around here, Nancy. I will note that, again, he's put forward a range of ways to pay for his big, bold ideas, including raising the corporate tax rate. And there are a number of components of his ideas that are not in this infrastructure negotiation right now. And you've referenced many of them in the American Families Plan. I'm not going to predetermine what all the aligning of items will be in the future, because that obviously isn't a package that's a part of this specific negotiation. But certainly he thinks that raising the corporate rate, ensuring, asking corporations many of whom have made a big profit during the pandemic to pay a little bit more is a very viable way to pay for ideas moving forward.
And just one more thing on the COVID vaccination distribution.
Sure.
How does the White House expect to donate 80 million doses without AstraZeneca? Does that mean that the J&J shot will definitely be part of the distribution?
Well, J&J has been approved by the FDA, so it would be those doses would be a part of what we're distributing, along with Moderna and Pfizer, including in this initial set of 25 million. AstraZeneca, as you know, we're waiting for FDA approval to even approve it to go overseas. That's something that certainly we could utilize those doses, and they would be a part of the doses of the 80 million. Go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, yeah, just we're weeks and weeks in these infrastructure negotiations, and I'm curious, what does the White House think it has to show for it? What do you think? What progress would you point to? What would you point to show that we're closer to a deal than when this process began?
Well, first, I would say that it may feel foreign, but the process of policymaking and negotiating can be messy and the sausage making isn't always beautiful or pretty. So that's what we're in the middle of right now. And the president has pledged to the American people when he ran for office that he would work with Democrats and Republicans to try to get important initiatives forward on behalf of the American people. This is an example of that. We're having ongoing discussions with Republicans. We feel that those discussions have been done in good faith. The president's looking forward to talking to Senator Capito tomorrow. We also are eager to see what proposal may be put forward by Democrats and Republicans who are talking about what they might agree on. So there are a range of paths forward here, and the president remains committed to his goal of signing a bill into law, historic investment infrastructure, by the summer.
And just one more.
Yeah.
The Remain in Mexico policies ended. Is it still your message to immigrants coming from Central America not to come, that the border is still closed?
Correct. Our message is still this is a dangerous time to come. We've been clear in our assessment that the MPP program, more commonly known as Remain in Mexico, was quite problematic. It led to dangerous and inhumane conditions along Mexico's northern border, in part because of the camps and the conditions at the camps. That's something the president talked about, or we've talked about for some time. And Secretary Mayorkas and DHS determined that the program does not adequately or sustainably enhance border management either. So our message continues to be this is not the time to come. We want to have an effective immigration system in place, including asylum processing at our border, and that has not changed. But ending the Remain in Mexico program is something we've long talked about our commitment to. Brittany, go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. The president has tasked Vice President Harris with two contentious, if not at least very difficult to wrap your head around, time-consuming issues in American politics, immigration in the Northern Triangle and race through voting rights of not just the National Space Council stuff that hasn't kicked off yet, broadband, dealing with labor unions. Should we expect any other major additions to Vice President Harris's portfolio in the coming months, let me say, by the end of the year?
Well, first, the president's confident that the vice president is absolutely up to the task. He sees her as a partner and someone who he is playing the role of a modern-day vice president, which is taking on challenging tasks, tasks that won't be easy, and that's certainly something he felt he did as vice president, and he is confident that Vice President Harris will do exactly the same thing. And as you know, she's traveling to the Northern Triangle next week. She's just taken on this initiative per her request on voting rights. She's going to be active on that in the weeks ahead. So I can't predict what's going to come our way or what initiatives she'll need to take on over the months ahead, but certainly these are two big tasks that he's confident in her ability to lead.
You said earlier that Harris had asked to take on this issue of voting rights. Is that how her portfolio's been determined? Has she been the one advocating for herself for these other assignments, or has it been
Typically a discussion. They have regular lunches and they discuss areas where they know there needs to be one of them at the helm, and certainly this is an area where she expressed a direct interest in. I'm going to have to just wrap it up shortly,
Just
but go
a
ahead.
little update on the White House cat, because that's something that's still happening here. Our readers are asking us a lot, so I feel
I
like
bet.
have a right to ask.
I've been joking, although maybe it might be true, that we're waiting for a bad news day for that to come out. If you see a tail wagging coming out of the briefing room, you'll know something bad's about to happen. I don't have any update on the cat. I know there's a lot of interest. Go ahead.
What's the symbolic importance of the President's meeting with the Queen at Windsor Castle in the UK? And also, when he sits down with Boris Johnson, there's obviously a long history of meetings between American presidents and British prime ministers, but will this one be different because the UK is no longer part of the European Union?
Well, we continue to have a special relationship with the United Kingdom, and I'm certain we'll have more to preview early next week about what the trip looks like, but there's a range of issues of mutual interest. We've talked about some of them in this briefing, from the future of economic growth in the world to addressing the COVID pandemic to security issues around the world. So they have a range of topics they can clearly discuss.